Welcome back to the Midlife Awakening podcast. My name is Odelia and I'm your host. This is a podcast about transformation for women who are waking up to who they really are while navigating everything that comes with midlife. Today's episode is for the woman who has the to-do list longer than her arm, who makes everyone else's appointments, who remembers the PE kit, dentist appointments, the work deadline, but who also hasn't actually checked in with herself since 2007. Yes, I'm talking to you. I'm joined today by Shauna Hawkes, who works with women at that crossroad moment, when you realize you've been doing all the things for everyone else, but nothing for yourself. Shauna is a woman's embodiment mentor, yoga teacher, and Gene Keys guide who supports women to break free from self-sabotage, overthinking, and burnout, and step into clarity, confidence, and a joyful, fulfilling life. With a background in social work spanning prisons, rehabilitation centers, and community support, and over 15 years as a yoga teacher, Shauna blends somatic embodiment, EFT, and NLP tools with Gene Keys wisdom to help women reconnect with their bodies, trust themselves deeply, and create their next chapter with ease and purpose. In this episode, she talks us through not only somatic embodiment, which, if you're anything like me a few years ago, might sound slightly intimidating and a little woo-woo, but really it just means learning how to get out of your head and back into your body, which, let's be honest, most of us abandoned somewhere around motherhood. But she also talks us through topics like EFT, NLP, and the Gene Keys, which, as an astrologer, absolutely fascinated me because you know how I love anything that blends self-development with astrology. We also talk about something really important for all of us, and that's self-trust, especially in midlife. That slippery little thing we all think we have until we have to make a decision and then suddenly we're polling the entire group chat. So if you're feeling stuck, slightly over the always on the go culture, or just wondering, is this it? You're going to love this episode. Let's dive in. Hi, Shauna, and welcome to the show. I'm so glad that you could join us today. So maybe we can start off with you just sort of talking us through the work that you do. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came to do the coaching that you do at the moment.
Sure. So I'm Shauna, and I work with women who are at a crossroads in their life. That can often look like feeling stuck or feeling confused, not sure what to do or how to trust themselves in this next stage of where they're going. I come from a background in social work, and I've just sort of expanded on that, studied a lot of modalities, and a lot of my work comes from personal experience, having come from a very traumatic background, and using all of the modalities and the learning how to get into my body to basically heal and learn how to trust myself. So I teach other women how to make that a priority in their lives and how to live their best life. So yeah.
Okay, great. And so you work a lot with getting people to realize what's going on in their bodies, right? So that's, I
Mm,
think they call it somatic embodiment, right?
yes.
So what does that actually mean practically for for those women out there that have never actually heard the term or don't know what we're talking about?
Yeah, totally. And I think in the past, I probably would have been like, what are you talking about? Um, there's a habit, I feel like, and this is a generalization, but especially with women, that we tend to live from our head. So we think there's a lot of shoulds. We look around and we should do the things, and we have a lot of different roles where we play. And sometimes that can be very masculine. And by masculine, I don't mean male, like, I mean just we've got the feminine and the masculine within us. And sometimes we really lean towards that doing and the going. And that's very, it's very head based. It's very, I'm just going to push forward. I'm going to get the things done that I need to get done. And I think most women live that way. Because they've never been taught differently, so there's nothing wrong with it per se, but there's also, the 9 to 5 was not created, I don't believe, for a woman, just a woman in herself. She's going through 4 seasons in 1 month. And so you know, a 9 to 5 is not going to look the same for her as it does when she's, for example, menstruating and when she's not. So that's just a really basic level. But somatic is when you're going to do something, or when you're engaging in an opportunity, or with your kids or with your partner, or really with anything, you're going into the body, and you're checking in, and you're saying, does this actually align for me? Yes, I have a to-do list of 7 things to do. Now, how does my body feel about this right now? And that doesn't mean that it's an excuse not to do anything, but it also gives you an opportunity to see if things are in or out of alignment, because many women, in my experience, are doing things that are out of alignment, and they don't even know that they're out of alignment because they don't know how to check in with their body and see, does this feel good? Does this make me feel happy? Is this something that's going to advance my life in a direction that I want to move? Versus, I've just got to get it done, then I'll feel better. This idea that once it's all done, that then there's this sense of relief, versus the sense of relief coming from, if I just relax, and if I breathe, and if I notice if there's any tightness in my body, that's going to tell me whether I'm headed in the right direction, or whether this is in alignment for being true to being authentic for you or for her, right?
Oh, absolutely. And I think in today's culture, especially, we're in this go, go, go culture. Like we've got a
Mm,
million things to do. Women have so many things on their to-do list that they have to
mm,
get through. It's the kids, it's the house, it's the job, it's everything. That's actually
agreed.
stop and pause. It's very
Mm,
difficult.
yeah.
So, what would you say is one small thing someone could do every day just to sort of
Mm,
bring that into their daily life? That's
yeah.
easy and practical, considering everything that we have to do on a
Yeah,
daily
yeah.
basis.
Um, Set your alarm on your phone for every 3 hours, and have the alarm go off, and when it goes off, just take 1 minute to breathe, just to close your eyes, and to stop what you're doing. I mean, of course, this is like, be realistic about it. You're not going to be driving the car, and but I'm saying that take these opportunities throughout the day just to pause, and to slow down, and to close your eyes, and feel what's going on. Like, maybe even asking yourself this question: in this moment, when I close my eyes, how do I feel? Like, do I feel in alignment? Do I feel relaxed? Do I feel excited, or do I feel stressed? And just even doing that on a regular basis helps us choose our state of being. Because sometimes when you're saying there are all the things to do, we don't even notice that we're doing all the things, and we're not actually in touch with ourselves. So I feel like, if you can't do 3 hours, do twice a day, and then maybe it's every hour, like, and I got to a point in my life where it was happening just all the time for me. I was just stopping and breathing and checking in, because I wanted to live a happy and joyful life, and I couldn't do that if I didn't know how I was feeling all the time, because I didn't know how to check in. So it was like every hour there was an alarm, and it'd be like, whoa, how many times within a day would I wake up, or just, kind of, I say wake up because it was like waking up. It was like, shit, that doesn't feel good. Like, that doesn't, and then there's a choice in that. Then I can go, okay, now I can choose something different if I want to, or I can slow down if I choose to. So I feel like that's very practical for anyone, and they can choose that time period for that alarm, but it's being faithful to actually doing that, and that will start the process of becoming aware of what many women aren't aware of right now.
Yeah, that's so well said. Thank you.
Mm,
Um, so you also embody, you also bring into your work EFT and NLP, if that's
mm,
correct. So maybe
mm,
you could talk a little bit about those, and sort of how do you merge that all into the work that you do and help women?
yeah. So NLP is just kind of understanding. For me, it's understanding the language that women are using, or that people are using, and what they're saying without saying, or watching the eyes, and what's being said without being said. So it's more picking up on what's already there. So I love that, and I use that in everyday communication with everyone. That's beautiful, but it's become more of like an ingrained. I don't necessarily think about it. With EFT, it's so beautiful because it's a very somatic experience. You you are you shake your head, so I feel like maybe you know EFT. But with the tapping, it's releasing the meridian lines where the energy is stuck, because any negative emotion is just stuck energy in the body. That's all it is. Any emotion is just energy, right? So we want the energy to move really freely. So EFT is huge for that, because it moves the energy, but also because it gets women to admit how they're really feeling. There's this idea that I shouldn't feel this way, or it's bad to feel this way. And it's like, it's all allowed, and it's all just energy. And, I feel like I say this all the time. I'm like, it's just energy. It's just energy. It doesn't matter. It's just energy. So it's admitting this is how I'm feeling, and then using the tapping on the meridian lines to move the stuck energy that emotion is holding within the body. um I don't know if I mentioned this, but I work a lot with the gene keys as well, and that has been such a powerful system for allowing women, allowing people to see themselves, and also have a sense of, it brings a lot of yep, that's my pattern. That's me, and it's without me as Shauna saying, this is what I'm witnessing, like as an observer. It's like there's this system that's showing us the same thing that I'm seeing. And so we're going to bring it to the forefront as an opportunity to heal, and to soften, and to contemplate, and find compassion. Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, I love how you explain EFT. Like, I've never heard it explained that way. It's just shifting energy,
Yeah,
stagnant energy. Some, you have similar things like Reiki, but I feel like EFT is a lot easier because it's something you can sort of really do on yourself if you know
absolutely.
how. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And so the gene keys, I wanted to ask you about that because I've
Yeah.
never heard of gene keys,
Yeah.
so which is strange for me because I know quite a lot about all these spiritual topics. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
very curious. So what
Okay.
exactly is gene keys? Is that
Okay.
what is that based on?
Yeah. So, what's interesting about what you're saying, and I'm finding this theme, is that many people in this, we'll call it like self development or awareness field, are like, I've never heard of this. And it just excites my soul when people say that, because I'm just like, there's this thing, that's completely transformed my life. So, I've been studying the gene keys for about 5 years, but it's this. It's a system that's based on. Have you heard of human design?
I have, yes.
Yeah. So it's based on human design. It's based on astrology and the I Ching. So it's taking three separate modalities, and it's sort of combining it into one. So the creator of the Gene Keys, his name is Richard Rudd, and he studied under Ra, who was the creator of human design. And he sat at the back of Ra's classes, and actually became very good friends with him, and sat year after year after year learning this intricate system of human design, and never ever took one note, just absorbed it all, just like totally absorbed it into his body. And then he felt like there were a few just limitations with it. And also he felt like there was a way that we could get a little bit more pinpointed in understanding things, because human design is this beautiful system, but it's also complicated. And, just speaking from my own experience, I really like straight shooting things. I like, just kind of tell me as it is. Let's get straight into it. I love words too. So Gene Keys is this system that, again, is developed on where is the sun, where is the moon, on the location of when you were born, where's Venus, where's Mars. And according to exactly what your location and time of birth, you get these keys. Okay. So he started with 11 keys. He's just developed three more keys, which is interesting. And I still haven't learned about these extra three keys because this has only just come out. But these keys will tell you, in specific spheres of your life, what your shadow pattern will be, what your gift is, and what your highest enlightened state is, but in specific areas of your life. So there will be, like, for example, a key that will tell us exactly what you'll struggle with over and over and over again until you accept it. And that will be very specific to you. So it will be like, this will be the pattern that will continually show up until you accept it. And then this will be the greatest gift that you get out of that challenge. So it's not about, it's not about overanalyzing the shadows. It's about seeing the gifts that you're here to offer the world, that the world needs, healing in. And as you heal it for the entire of humanity. But it's so beautiful because for me, and this has always kind of been my tendency, is I can sometimes look at the negative. So I actually saw the shadows and I was like, oh, thank God someone put in words all the things that I've been experiencing my whole life, like I've had this feeling of seriousness. I've had this entropy. I feel intolerance a lot, and it was finally these words that were there. And I was like, it helped my system go, oh my gosh, this is it. This is what I've been experiencing over and over and over again. And then realizing that the gifts that I have in life come from those shadows, and we change through. This is the best part about the Gene Keys. You allow it, or you allow it, you accept it, and you embrace it. That's how you learn the Gene Keys. Allow, accept, embrace. Nothing else. You contemplate them, and you study them, but there's no fixing, there's no changing. There's just see yourself, and with shadows, when we shine a light on it, you can't, like, you know what I mean? It's like it keeps hiding, right? So when you have this system that points you to something, there's this sense of the nervous system, and this is my experience of my nervous system going, oh my gosh. And when I work with clients, so beautiful, because we can look at that and go, oh, can you notice how this pattern is showing up again? Can you see this pattern of this keeps showing up? And there's a sense for them too of like, oh yeah. And then we go, so wonderful. We'll just keep watching it, and we'll also just keep leaning into the gift. Like, what is the gift that you get out of that shadow? Because the shadow brings the gift. Without the shadow, without deep entropy. So that's one of my shadows, and entropy is like almost like a lack of creativity, almost like a little bit of depression, like a real, like self, like going a loathing almost kind of. And then, then it moves into this beautiful freshness. So the freshness comes from the entropy. So the entropy, I realize, is when I experience this is the holding tank for something new coming. So now when I experience, I go, oh, something big is coming. There's a freshness that's coming through me. It just hasn't come yet, you see? And so now I work with myself in a very different way. Whereas before I'd be like, oh, I'm depressed again. Here we go again. This is the same pattern. I haven't gotten anywhere. So it's really changed the way that I see myself and the way I see others. And it's helped me have a lot of compassion for myself and for others. So really beautiful system I could talk about all day long.
I love that. And I love that it involves astrology, because I'm an astrologer. So I absolutely love
Oh,
astrology.
you would love this then. And there's
I'm on my laptop later tonight, and I'm looking this
okay,
up
yeah.
because
And
um
the profile is free, so you can just go on and you can download your profile and you can look at the whole thing. And it looks complicated, but you can also read 4 paragraphs, and you will just be like, whoa, whoa, yeah,
yeah, I'm going to be downloading mine tonight.
cool, cool.
Um, the thing I love about astrology, and you've sort of reiterated, and it's just that permission, isn't it? It's that permission
Mm,
to be who you are, and
mm,
to integrate those parts of yourself that you always beat yourself up about, right?
mm,
The shadow parts,
mm,
we can call it that, and just being able to integrate that into who you are, and accepting and loving yourself.
mm,
Because there is such a big misconception about astrology as well, that it's, witchcraft and fortune telling, and it's actually so much more than that. It's
mm,
really is a self-development tool, which it
mm,
sounds like the gene keys are as well.
mm, mm,
So, and I feel like that would be really helpful for women in midlife, particularly because you do get to that stage in midlife where you're like, I don't know what my purpose is. I've been living
mm,
a life that other people have wanted for me. I don't know. I need a shift, but I don't know what that looks like. I want to change, but I don't know what that looks like. And so anything like this that can give them that direction, and that can
mm,
give them that, that assistance of, who am I? Because that's a big
mm,
question that comes up.
mm.
I mean, this sounds like this would be really helpful for them,
Mm.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
And do you find like you get a lot of women in midlife that come to you for help, and they have these are the kinds of questions that they have?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that's, my favorite sort of client or person to work with is a woman in that middle age where she's done a lot of the doing and she's ready to really step into more joy. She doesn't actually know that yet. So when I work with her, she's just like, I'm feeling stuck. I don't know what to do. And essentially it feels like that's the crossroad. Like midlife is that crossroad. You're reaching a point where you're ready to step into something new. You don't yet know what it is that you're here to step into. You don't know how to find out what that is. So yeah, I would say that's definitely like my ideal client for sure.
Now you also have an archetype quiz on your
Yes.
website, right? So
Yes.
I've gone and I've done that.
Okay. Which
So do
one
you
were
want
you?
Phoenix Rising, which I
Ah,
thought
okay.
was very, very, very on
Fitting.
point.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So do you want to tell us a little bit about your archetype quiz? We can put a link in the show notes so if anyone wants to go and take the quiz, because I thought it was quite fascinating. So do you want to
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about what the different archetypes are and about the quiz, and how did you actually come up with the quiz?
Um, well, I just did some exploring. I mean, I with the quiz, there's only four options that you can kind of choose, but it gives me a really good idea of where women are at and how they handle, like how they. So when you say Phoenix Rising, I'm like, oh yeah, you've been through some things, and you have that like I am on the other end, and and not afraid of the fire, ready to step into the heat, ready to really look at things, right?
Yeah.
Whereas for example, another archetype might be, sort of the people pleaser, and that's going to look very different. And the work that I'm going to do with them is going to look very different with someone who's a people pleaser versus someone who's like, I've got this, I'm ready to do the work, I'm ready to dive in. And so while there's only four archetypes, you'll find this interesting. When I work with women, the first thing I do is I give them a gene key reading. So they watch this 45-minute video, and then I sit with them for 75 minutes. And just talk them through that. And every gene key has an archetype. So there's 64. And so this is beautiful because, you would have 11 of them. And that's quite beautiful to see that and see how it shows up. And I'm only in sort of the last 6 months playing with the archetypes, but I'm loving it because it's just that next level of allowing what is already there. Like I feel like all these systems, no matter what system we talk about, whether it's gene keys or astrology or EFT or NLP or whatever it is, whatever modality it is, it's just permission for you to fully be yourself. And the more that you can fully step into that, I believe the more you can relax in life and the more you do feel driven to know what you want to do and know where you want to go because you know you that's sort of I feel like the basis of it all.
Yeah, I mean that yeah, absolutely. We can always use some more guidance, especially when we get to midlife and everything's just confusing and you don't know who you are or where you're going or
Mm,
um so okay, so you incorporate that all into the work that you do.
yeah.
And let's talk a little bit about self-trust, because I know you work a lot with women and
Mm,
self-trust.
mm,
It seems to be a big thing for women especially, where we
mm.
lack the self-trust. Why do you think that is?
Oh, it's a big one. I think to be really honest, I think it goes back to childhood. And I think it's true for men. It's true for everyone. But I don't know, somehow men, I feel like they overcome it a bit easier, a bit quicker, or they kind of just make their way through it. They don't get so heady about it. Us women, I think we can be very critical towards ourselves. Um, in the experience of myself and also of what I've witnessed. But I think as a child, you say, "Mom, I want this. Dad, I want this." You're in the store and you go, and mom goes or dad goes, "No, like you can't have that. Put that away. You're not having that." And then there's this expression that you have, like, and it might be like screaming, like, "But I really want it," and that's the part of you that's true because you do really want it in that moment. And then mom goes, stop yelling. Don't do it. Don't like, be quiet. And in the moment of doing that, it's shutting down, which is what is a natural expression. That doesn't mean that someone should have a permission to throw a fit everywhere and at any time that they want to. But this just happens on repeat, like, or a kid falls down and they scrape their knee, and then mom goes, get up, come on, we've got to go. Instead of getting down on your hands and knees and saying, darling, are you okay? That must have really hurt. Yeah, it did, mom, it really hurt. And then you've addressed what's real there. And then you go, okay, we ready to get up now. And then, it's putting the power back into, I'm going to call the children's hands in a really positive way, and it's allowing whatever wants to be felt. So if and this is no fault of the parents, I'm a parent of two kids, and I'm sure I did this many a times. It's busy, and it's hard work, and there's no one to blame for it, but it's also a reality. And then as the child gets older, or as we get older, the same thing keeps happening. Is experiences happen where we feel challenged or we feel hurt, and there's this idea that we don't have permission to fully express that. Like, one of my least favorite questions when a child comes home, and was the case for my kids, I say to them, how are you feeling? I don't say, what's wrong, ever. So if my kids come to me crying, I go, how are you feeling? Because that's the truth. You don't go, what's wrong? Because there's nothing wrong. Like, it's just energy. Like, they can be crying, and it's like, well, tell me how you're feeling. Learn to identify what's true for you instead of pretending it's all together. Because it's the moment you go, what's wrong? They go, nothing. I'm fine. I'm fine. And then in that moment, you just shut down everything that is so real. And then it's the same thing. You're out and about and you're crying, and someone comes over and they go, what's wrong? Instead of saying, you know, oh, wow, are you feeling something? Is there something you'd like to talk about? Like opening up the permission slip to authentically be yourself. It's not seen or heard. I think things are changing nowadays, but if you have this repetitive experience over and over and over again, and let's not even include trauma, I mean, then you add the layers of trauma, and then it's like, then we gotta then this just exacerbates it. It is very hard to learn. And even someone who's had a great upbringing and really healthy parents, they still have this idea that I don't have full permission to be me. And when we trust ourselves, we learn that there is nothing to prove and there is nothing to hide, ever, ever. You don't need to have permission to be you. You don't have to hide anything. And in the moments you start to realize that, you own all of you, and you go, no one needs to give me permission anymore. I can trust me. But that's learning, and we learn through repetition. So it's doing it over and over and over again until it feels natural. So I think self-trust is a learned thing, and it can be slow, but I think if you work with someone who can help you with that, it becomes quicker, and so you can learn that quicker. And women are quick learners when they want it. Like, the phoenix rising, man, she's in it. She's there for it. She wants the learning. So do you see what I'm saying? So I think,
Yeah.
yeah, it's available, but I think it goes way back to early on, before we even recall what's happening. It's just a ingrained patterning of the whole of society.
And do you also think, like this fear of not being accepted by society, when
Absolutely.
yeah, that's a big
Or
one
or
because we are social
family.
beings. Yeah.
Yeah, or just family. Like, if it, like, just be quiet, like you're a bit too loud, like those kind of things. Like, oh shit, I can't fully be myself, because if I'm loud, that means I'm unlovable, or I'm too much, right?
Too
And all
much.
these stories that get built around these things. So I think there's always, yeah, definitely society, but it starts in that family unit and what happens there, and those repetitive things that get said over and over again.
Absolutely. Self-trust is a big one for women, particularly. So what can you do if you, like, for me, I know this is something I struggle with.
Hmm.
Um, so what is like small things that you could do every day just to start building that up? what would you say, like one thing we could start with every single day just to start rebuilding that trust?
Just make a decision about something and then trust yourself. Don't second guess it. Don't go back and think I should have done something different. Just make a decision and then back yourself. So practice that every day. Like when someone asks you a question or you have this choice to make, because we have choices all day every day, just choose something and then just back yourself and be like, I've made that choice. I'm committed to it. This goes a bit beyond this, but I really don't believe that you can make mistakes in life. And I think when you believe that yourself, life becomes such a playground for you because you go, I'm not going to make a mistake. I'm never going to screw up. I'm just in this learning playground. And so when I make a decision, I'm just here to learn whatever this decision unfolds as, but it's not wrong and it's not bad. It's just the decision that I'm making. So on a very practical level, for every woman that doesn't know how to trust themselves, make a decision and then back yourself. Just go, yep, that's the decision. No second guessing. I didn't get it wrong. I actually got that decision right. And be with that and feel the energy of that, because it's not necessarily even the decision, it's the energetics behind the decision that will be the learning part for you and for everyone, right? Like, it's like, I made that decision and then it's like, can I relax? Can I just be with that decision and be like, that was the perfect decision for this moment? And then can you compound that? Can you keep doing that? Can you keep making decisions and go, yeah, that was the right decision for that moment. That was perfect decision. Yeah.
Wow. I'm going to try that because I am the worst person at making decisions. Like I
Oh,
go back and forth, back and forth. I overthink.
okay.
I overthink it way too much. And then
Okay.
I'll make a decision and I'll be like, oh no, I don't know if that's the right decision. I don't know.
Oh,
And usually if I follow my intuition, it is
yes.
the right decision.
Yes.
So I have started, as the years have gone on, started to try and listen more to my intuition
Yes.
and to trust that, you know,
Beautiful.
it's always served me in the past. So I think also
Beautiful.
looking back on where maybe you'd like to reaffirm yourself, looking back on where you made a decision and it was the right decision. Would,
Totally. Love that.
yeah, that would
Yeah.
work too. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And just encoding, repeating, I made the best decision in the moment for myself, because you did. When you made that decision in that moment, it was the best decision you could have possibly made. And so the second guessing is the after. So you just keep coming back to, no, I made the right decision. I made the perfect decision in that moment, because all we ever have is this moment right here and now. I mean, we can analyze the past all we want, and we can contemplate the future, and yet all we really have is this moment. So be in the moment and trust that moment that you chose that decision, and then back yourself in it and just keep doing that over and over and over again.
I love that. I'm going to remember that for the next time. I'm
Hmm.
just going to be like, I'm backing myself this time. I'm
Yes, I
backing
love
me.
that. Yes,
I'm voting
yes,
for me.
yes, yes, exactly.
Now, there's a lot out there about healing and starting a healing journey. What would you say is the one myth that you'd like to debunk about healing and healing modalities and starting a healing journey?
Hmm. You're not broken and there's nothing to fix.
Oh, wow.
Full stop.
Yeah.
We're not, I don't do work because I'm there to fix someone. You're like, everyone is divinely perfect exactly as they are. There's no, this idea of healing is, it's beautiful. And it's also, in some ways and in some things, it's bullshit, because it's based on this idea that there's something wrong with you. Like, oh, we got to fix you. Like, you've been really fucked up. And it's like, okay, let's just stop there. Let's stop with that idea, and let's just realize that all the experiences that you've had, this whole journey that you're on, it's all divine. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with you. And we're just gonna play. We're gonna be in a playground, and we're gonna see what the soul wants to heal, like what the whatever your soul is calling you into. And so a lot of healing, and this is a great question, because I don't know if I've ever really verbalized this, but healing comes from knowing what you do want. So it's like, whenever one of the first stages when I work with a woman, I go, okay, so what do you want? 9 out of 10 women say to me, I don't know. I said, well, we're not doing any work until you tell me what you want, because we're not going to a dead end road. Like, we're not going to go and just look at your past. I'm not here to analyze you go see a therapist, like, if, and I'm not digging on therapists. I'm just saying that it's a beautiful first step, but the work that I do is not aligned with that. So if you want to heal, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? What do you want to create in your life? Let's start there. And then when we have this really clear picture of what it is that you want, and see, then that comes back to that decision. You got to make a decision. What do you want in your life? And if you don't know what you want, let's just go after what you want to feel. Maybe you just want to feel peaceful and aligned and relaxed. That's beautiful. And if you want that, then we go back and we look at where you're out of alignment with that. So as we're moving towards that, we have the end goal in mind. We know where we're going. And then as the weeks go by, we see where there's a misalignment. Okay, well, this is the direction we're heading. Oh, you're off in the forest now. We need to be on the highway, and we're in the forest. So this game of healing is really, for me, number one, about presence. It's about being present to what's here and now. It's not about anything being broken. And number two, you got to know where you're going to get there. You can't just get in a car and start driving and hope you get to a destination. You got to know what destination. It doesn't matter how we get there, but we got to know where we're going. So, yeah, I mean, this healing is an interesting thing, because to me, it's on the basis of there's something broken or needing fixing, versus a returning to who you truly are. Is it returning to that real purity of who you are, and that deep love that's already within you, and all the things that you already know. That's why I always talk to self-trust, because you already have the answers. You just need a little direction. It's like, that's why I call what I do mentorship, because I'm just here with the guardrails going, "Meep, meep, 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 meep," and just keeping you in the guardrails so that you can choose to live a life that you love. But you've got more wisdom than I do for yourself. I'm just here to kind of like see, oop, okay, and that's kind of the way that I see it.
Yeah. I love that. I really love that. Yeah.
Mm,
Coming back into alignment. Nothing wrong with
mm.
you. You're not broken. Everything you've been through has just been lessons
That's it.
to add to who you were meant to always be, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So I ask this question to everyone that comes on the show.
Hmm.
What would you tell your younger self if she was standing right next to you?
Oh, love this question. What would I tell her? Hmm. You have no idea what's coming your way. You have no idea how successful you'll be and how happy you will be. Yeah. Yeah, I think in the midst of all of that, no one ever told me, you're actually going to turn out and be amazing after all of this. She probably wouldn't have believed me, but yeah, I would have told her, like, oh man, you'll blow your mind. You won't realize. Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's
Mm,
beautiful. That validation.
mm,
I love that.
mm.
So if anyone wants to find you and work with you, where do they go?
My website is the easiest place. So it's shaunahawkes.com. I have, all the details of the work I do. The most of it is that 3-month mentorship, but you can also just take the quiz if you're curious. I also do like gene key readings, and I've taught yoga for about 18 years now. So I run like retreats, like yoga and the gene keys and things like that. So yeah, but all the details are on my website, so probably the easiest, and on social media, on Instagram at Shauna Embodiment Mentor.
Okay, great. And we'll put those links in the show notes if anyone
Amazing.
wants to find you. Thank you so
Yay.
much for joining me today. It was
Thanks for
really
having
lovely talking to you. I really
me.
enjoyed that.
Same.
Thank you.
Lots of love.
I loved this conversation with Shauna. There's something really powerful about being reminded that you are not broken. There isn't something wrong with you that needs to be fixed, and you don't need a complete personality transplant. You just need to pause, breathe, and make one decision. And actually back yourself when you make that decision. Don't second guess it. Don't question it. Which, for those of us who overthink everything, this is going to be a practice. Midlife can feel messy and confusing and a little bit like standing in the middle of a roundabout, not sure which exit to take. But what I took from this episode is that the answer isn't out there somewhere. It's inside you. It's in your body. It's in your intuition. It's that little voice that you've probably been ignoring because it wasn't practical or it wasn't logical. I know, I've been there. And it's bitten me in the ass a couple of times. So if you'd like to connect with Shauna, all her details are in the show notes, including her archetype quiz, which I highly recommend you try and you give it a go. I mean, it's a little bit of fun. Why not? Apparently, I'm a Phoenix Rising, which felt both dramatic and wildly accurate. If this episode resonated, please, you know what to do. Like, share, comment, review, rate. You know what to do. So that other woman navigating this journey can also find this episode, and hopefully it can help. And if you want to stay connected between episodes, come follow me on my journey on Instagram and TikTok. You'll find the links in the show notes or just search for the Midlife Awakening. And if you like the rantings of this mad woman, then head over to my Substack where you can either sign up to my free weekly newsletter and Sunday Reflections post, or if that's not enough and you need more of me in your life, then you can sign up to my new community where we share and care for each other on this journey. Until next week, be kind to yourself. Take care of your heart. Bye for now.